Hey guys, it's Megan and today I am going to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, but it's never felt like the right time to do it. First of all because I thought I don't know where to start, I don't know what to talk about and is it weird, but I think now that we're all talking about mental health a lot more, it's the right time to do it if there ever is a right time, and I think that now it's not such a taboo topic. I think it's perfect time to talk about it. I guess this is just my personal story about my anxiety and probably a touch with depression as well, to be fair. But I wanted to talk about it because it's really important that, you know, nobody feels alone, because I think when I was going through my worst time I searched for YouTube videos and I did find a really good one by Zoella, which it made me feel at ease at the time knowing that it wasn't just me. So I think my anxiety started worse when I was at school. I'd say year 10 and 11 was when it was the worst. Definitely year 11 because I had to do my exams in a different room at school because I couldn't face going in the hall. It was just too much for me and I literally lost a lot of friends, but it's fine. Like, I've got really good friends still from school, the ones that stuck by me and stuff. I remember that it was that summer after my exams when things got really bad. Like, it was awful. So when I'm anxious, it really affects my tummy like really bad. The doctors always said it was IBS, but I think it's more of a case of like a vicious circle. Like, I get really anxious, so then I need the toilet, and then I feel anxious about needing the toilet, so I get more anxious, and then I need the toilet more. So that was always a real problem for me in school, and I remember that making me feel really anxious a lot because I just had this fear. I think, well, after a lot of counselling and stuff, I've realised a lot of it's down to control, I think, but it was kind of like I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get out a lesson or in time. I always felt like I had to have an escape plan, which I still feel like now. Just knowing how I can leave, how I can get out of somewhere, where the toilets are somewhere. God, I feel dead up talking about it, but that was school life. And that's when it got really bad because I was just so anxious about everyday life. Like, nothing in particular would set me off. It was just the thought of leaving the house, and I think that because of that I got really low, really down. Because of how low I was feeling, I started to push people away a lot, and I felt like a proper burden on my family. They were trying to get me out to do nice things, and my mum, I know it's not about buying you things, but she'd come home and have bought me things or like make me nice food and try and encourage me to go out places, and I just wouldn't do it. I think a lot of it as well was down to emetophobia, which I can do a whole video about really, but emetophobia is the fear of sick, vomiting. Hope that's not a trigger to anyone, but that was a really big problem because with the tummy problems that I'd get from feeling anxious, it'd either be needing the toilet or feeling really sick, and because I had a phobia of sick, that would be like a great stress to me. So I'd feel like if I went out I might be sick, and then people would laugh at me and I'd be really weird, and it was all this thing about needing control, because I needed to be able to control the situation and feel safe and not feel worried about getting laughed at, humiliated. So to me it was just staying in the house was the best option, and if I did go out it wasn't fun anyway because I'd be really anxious. It's the breathing, the lightheadedness, all the tapping of the feet, the playing with the hands, picking the nails, everything like that. So I remember, I think it was in that 6 weeks holidays when it just all got a bit much, and my mum arranged for me to go to counselling with someone that actually did it at college. I later learned down the line, and I ended up sticking with her for a long time, and we're friends to this day now. I actually think she saved my life numerous times, but honestly that day I actually hated my mum so much for making me go to counselling. I was mad, I was angry. I felt like really angry at the world because I thought, why are you trying to help me? Like, I had no self-worth at this point. I just honestly felt like a burden. I didn't want to help myself. every day was a battle just to get through. Like getting over the front door, going out, it was a battle, it was horrendous. And then I'd start, you know, being really horrible to my mum and dad and like my family because I was just angry. I was an angry person. Like honestly, I don't feel like I even knew who I was in a way, because they were trying to help me and I felt like a shell of myself is the best way I can explain it. I kind of felt like a problem child to them, and they never ever made me feel like I was hard work, but I felt like I was. And I didn't want the help. I didn't want to go to counselling. I didn't have any self-worth, and I numerous times I kind of felt like really low, like I actually didn't want to carry on, which I mean I'm not ashamed to say, because at the time I felt really ungrateful because I've been given this amazing life by my mum and dad and always been really loved, and I'd done well at school despite everything. But I knew, well, I felt like I was just going to chuck it all away because I wasn't going to be able to go to college. I wasn't even able to go out the house. I was embarrassed of myself. Even in the house was no longer my safe place because I'd have panic attacks at home. And I remember one day my mum going to the lakes with my nana, and I actually had to ring her to come home. I was like, you need to come home and help me, like I could not breathe, and it was just horrendous. And that's when my nana realised how bad it was. So this counselling, I think I went like once a week. I can't actually remember, but I remember it's just like a big blur. And I made my dad come with me a lot, and I was angry. I was really angry because I thought I was past the point of being helped in a way. I didn't feel like I deserved help, and I felt like it was too far gone. I couldn't see a way out. Like every day I felt like I was sinking into like a deeper hole all the time and like not seeing a way out. You know, like if you were in a really deep hole with like proper smooth walls, there's no way of getting out, and like no ladder. I couldn't see a way out at all. I carried on going to counselling, and it was all about coping mechanisms, breathing, and obviously I'm not going to go into it too much because it's really private counselling, but in the end I can see that it did really, really help. It came time to go to college, and this was after like a whole 6 weeks of summer, like not going out the house, like very minimal. Like I'd go to counselling, I'd maybe go, if my mum or dad needed to post a letter, I'd go with them in the car and post a letter and go straight home. And this was like terrible because then obviously college came around, and it was like 5 days a week in this brand new place with people that, like a lot of people I didn't know, and literally at the worst point of my anxiety and panic attacks time because I hadn't been out of the house. So honestly, the first day of college, it was like a kid at reception. Like I did not want to leave my mum and my dad. A family member works there at the time anyway, and I was able to go in their office because I was just crying. Like I did not want to be there, and again I had no self-worth. I didn't believe that I was going to make anything of myself anyway. I felt like it was a waste of time, the tutors trying to teach me. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't feel capable of doing anything. I didn't want to be around anybody. I knew, well, I thought in my head that they'd all think I was really weird, this like weird girl, like so yeah, I was just crying. I wanted to go home, and she basically said, you're not going home. Like, and this was tough love, like she's amazing, but I needed that. I needed to be told I was staying. So I sat in the office for a long time, and then I was assigned to some people from the like learning support team. I can't remember what they called it at college, but basically if you needed a little bit extra help or support. So I was assigned a couple of women from there. So although I needed that to be able to cope, it made things worse in my head, because then immediately from day one in college I would have like a woman walking around with me, and then I'd have like a woman sat in lessons with me. This was at the very beginning of college, so that I would be able to like cope and know I could leave whenever I wanted to. I just needed someone there with me. But then by doing that, I missed out on joining in the groups, because then obviously at college there's like girl groups, big friend groups, and so I was very lonely. Yeah, really lonely, because I'd just be at college trying to mingle with the people I knew and stuff, but then still feeling like that weird kid that had to walk around with someone because I couldn't cope on my own. And then I totally went further away from myself because anything I could do to fit in the background, because I didn't want people looking at me. I would walk around the college with like my head down. I wouldn't want to make eye contact because I just wanted to be in the background because I didn't feel worth anything. I didn't think that anyone would want to be my friend. I didn't think that even if they were being nice to me that maybe they just felt sorry for me. And again, this is all in my head. It's not anybody's fault at college or anything. Everyone was probably really, really nice, and there's a lot of girls that were amazing, lovely people, which I learned towards the end when I was coping a bit better. But yeah, it was a really lonely place for me, and I remember dodging a lot of lessons because I couldn't cope with going in. And again, I'd have the toilet problems because I was getting myself that worked up, so if the bell went, I was still in the toilets, then I'd get more worked up because I was going to be late, so I'd be back on the toilet, and then I couldn't face walking into a lesson late because then I thought everyone would be looking at me, and so sometimes I'd just dodge it. But then if I didn't go, then women from the extra support would like find me in the toilet and be like, Megan, come out, and I was embarrassing. I don't even know who I was. I was like, no, I'm not coming out, I don't want to go. Like, I turned into a different person because I think that when you've got that much low self-worth and you don't even know who you are anymore, you kind of like don't even care about anything anymore because you don't respect yourself. So I think I kind of like didn't respect myself, so I didn't respect other people because I'd got in this deep hole and I didn't see the point of anything. Like, I just didn't see the point. Like, I thought everyone that was trying to help me and be there for me was wasting time because I didn't want to invest any help or time to myself. So that's the lowest point I had. And then skipping ahead a bit, so that was just a bit of background as well. Skipping ahead a little bit, by this point I'd been assigned to CAMS, which, I've got an ouch in my hair. But every time I'd go, I'd have a different person. Like, so it's a bit confusing because I had my person that I saw at college who's always been consistent and always been amazing, and then this other place that I'd go to was always someone different, and then eventually I got settled with one person, so I finally felt like I was going to be helped. And he was always about getting to the root of the problem, whereas the person I spoke to at college was very much talking therapy and getting everything off my chest that I needed to. The man that I saw at CAMS would question me a lot, like, well, what's going to happen if that happens? Because, for example, I'm scared of going outside because I'll be sick. And then what? Well, then I'd be embarrassed. And then what? People would laugh at me. And then he'd just keep saying, and then what? And then what? Until I'd be like, I don't know. So it's like, exactly, so what can happen? And I think he kind of put it in my head as well. He was like, so if you were out and about and you saw someone being unwell in the street or anything like that, would your first response be to laugh at them? Or would it be to go over and help them, see if they're alright? And I was like, obviously the second one. Do you think the world is against you, and if something bad happened to you that you'd be a laughing stock and you'd be embarrassed? Because it's not like that, it's all in your head. So I remember I had to kind of set myself different challenges, and getting a bus was a big one. Like, that was a massive achievement when I managed to start getting the bus again, because this was like before I was driving, because that was like a lot of control as well. Not being able to get off whenever I wanted to, and being around other people, and it was a bit boisterous, and that was like a big thing. That was a goal, to get on the bus and eat normally and to eat different foods and not be so restrictive with the fear of being sick. I stopped at my AS levels because I just couldn't cope with it anymore. I didn't want to do it. I went and did my beauty at at Furness College. I did my beauty therapy level 2 and 3 and nail technology, which is the job I do now. I felt like I could cope, and I kind of got by. I mean, I wasn't happy, but I wasn't sad, because I've been so alright in myself that because I think a lot of the time my method of being alright is like distraction. I'm always working really hard. I work till late most nights, and points over the past year, and I think that's the thing you've got to remember. you're not selfish or ungrateful or anything for having these low points, and if you have a bad day, it's a bad day, it's not a bad life. Because I think I always panic because now I'm in a really, really good place. I have been for probably like, I don't know, maybe the last 2.5 years I've been in a really good place. It was just last year around summer when I had a big dip again, and I do tend to have them, but I try not to beat myself up about it because I always think, oh, I'm having a really anxious week, I'm having a really bad time, it's coming back, like this thing, this big anxiety thing, it's coming back, but it's not. It's normal for people to have up and down days. I think it's just when you've had a bit of a history of this anxiety and depression and panic attacks, you think it's coming back, like any little niggle of something you think, oh, it's back, and you're just so terrified of being that person again. But I just need to remember that there's nothing to be frightened of because I coped then, so I could cope again. And I know I've always had it inside me to cope, but I think like what to do, I just have to have faith and trust in myself that I know me best. I know what I need, and what makes me up and down days, I know that is totally normal. And be real if I was like totally 100% fine all the time, because that's just not life. So place now, and I'm really happy. I'm loved up. I love my job. I love Louis. I love my family, and I'm really grateful, and they're so happy to see how I've progressed and stuff. But a bit about my anxiety story. It's very hard to cram into a little video without going on and on and on. But I put a post on Instagram, on my Instagram story, asking for people to send me questions about what kind of things they want to hear in an anxiety video, and I thought I would read out some of them questions and answer them, so then I've got a bit of structure, because that was a proper ramble. I don't even know what I've just said. I just kind of let it all come out, and there's probably loads I've missed, but I think it'd be easier to like break it up into separate videos, like emetophobia, self-love, things like that. So I'll move on to the questions. Someone's put, how would you explain having anxiety to someone who has never experienced it? So obviously it's like totally different to everybody, and you get totally different experiences and feelings. So I'll just talk about my experience personally. Like, it's more than nerves. Like, everyone gets a bit nervous about an exam or a driving test. Normal. Everything's like, nerves are normal, but I think me, when I realised it wasn't normal, was this real like fear of going out the house and overthinking, constant thoughts that just get so loud in your head that you just don't know how to switch them off. This constant like inner turmoil, you know, like really wanting to go out places or do these things or say yes to going out, but then the other half of you's like, yeah, but this could happen, and like, you don't really want to be there, they won't want you there, you're not good company, you're rubbish, you can't do this, this might happen, and this might happen, and this could go wrong. So that was all things that would go through my head. And physical side effects of anxiety were like a huge thing for me. They were like the mental, like, you know, feeling drained all the time because of your thoughts and the worries. And I'd also feel drained all the time because I felt like when I did go to school and college and things, I felt like I was in a constant ball like this all day, like really holding tight not to like break down or not to kind of let anyone in or let any emotion out. So it was just this big stress ball, and then when I got home I could finally like let it go. So I was exhausted. Not being able to sleep at night was like another side effect. I'd get panic attacks where I just would start getting really het up about my thoughts, so then I'd start breathing heavier, and I'd get to the point where I'd get really lightheaded because I wasn't getting enough breath in. I'd get pins and needles in my face, my tongue, my nose, my hands, feeling faint, feeling really hot, like hot sweats, and needing the toilet was like a massive one for me because it just totally wreaked havoc with my stomach. So yeah, anxiety, I think it's really hard to explain it, but they were my personal side effects of it. So yeah, an overwhelming feeling of worry. Do you get so anxious about things that it affects your productivity? Yeah, absolutely, because I go into a bit of a shell. Like, I go totally in on myself when I'm anxious, so I can't be productive, and it's almost like I want to punish myself a bit for being anxious again, because I'll stop doing the things I love because I don't feel like I deserve it, kind of thing. Music, I get so anxious and I just can't be creative. I can't write songs, I can't face playing music, I don't want to sing with my partner, which is what we do all the time, because I get anxious about, like, not anxious about singing, but so overwhelmed with how I'm feeling inside that I don't want to do anything creative or anything I enjoy because I'm not feeling like myself. So I don't want to do the things I enjoy because I don't enjoy it the same. I don't feel like I do my best at work if I'm feeling anxious because I just overthink every little thing. So I take longer, I'm not myself, I apologise a lot. It does stop me being productive because I get in a little ball of worry and stress and I just want to stay in the house and not face anybody or do anything, speak to anyone. So it's impossible to be productive when I feel in a really anxious way. Let's see another one. Is there anything in particular that starts it off? Stress, etc. Yeah, so a big trigger for me is feeling overwhelmed, whether it be taking on too much work, which I'm really guilty of. I work a lot of late nights because I don't like saying no to people, I don't like letting people down. So then if I'm really tired or overworked, I get really stressed and start worrying, and it gets into a bit of a vicious circle, like a bit of a downfall thing. I'll work late because I don't want to let people down, but then I'll get overtired and stressed, and then I'll think I'm a terrible person because I won't have done the house, like things in the house, or cooked for a long time. So then I'll think I'm not like being a nice girlfriend for Louis or being a good friend or a good family member, because I get very locked into one thing that I'm doing. So I want to do the best at it, but then I forget about everything else. So then I get anxious that I've kind of not given enough of myself to all the other areas of my life. How does it affect your relationship? So first of all, I cannot thank Louis enough for how amazing he is. He has brought the best side out of me. He's made me feel like I can be totally myself. He's made me realise what I want out of life and what I deserve out of life, and that I do deserve love and I do deserve happiness and opportunities and light, and but also it does affect the relationship, but not in a bad way. It's not like he has to care for me all the time. This is Layla. Come on then. He's my safe person, my safe place. Like, Louis is home to me, so I think I probably do put a lot on him, as in like ask for reassurance a lot, tell him my worries, but that's what he wants. He wants me to do that. He's there for me to do that, and as I am here for him. But I think I've found it really hard to adjust to not keeping it all to myself, because he's found me in some really bad ways when I have kept it all in because I didn't want to be a burden, or I didn't want to push him away, and I've let it get really, really bad. So then he's had to get me out of this really bad place, when in reality, if I just spoke about it sooner, like a problem shared is a problem halved kind of thing. So I think you're not a burden to the right person, you know. He never makes me feel like I'm a pain in the ass or hard work or not worth it, and he's very good at talking me down from things and making me realise how big or small a problem is really, rather than letting it grow and grow and grow in my head. So it affects the relationship. I think it affects it as much as you let it affect it, really, because I've been honest with Louis from day one about how I am. I think it was like a bit of a defence mechanism. I kind of straight away was like, I never used to be like, hi, I'm Megan, I'm a singer, I do nails, I like this, I like that. I used to be like, hi, I'm Megan, I've got anxiety, I'm really hard work, so if you want to put up with me, that's great, but if not, then like totally understand. That's just how I was, because I didn't think I deserved love and stuff. So I was honest about it from day one, and we've just worked through it together. Like, it's a real journey, and we learn things all the time. I'm learning, he's learning, and it's just, we just work, and he's been amazing with me. I couldn't ask for any more. So another one is, what is your proudest moment when it comes to overcoming your mental health? I think every day is a proud moment for me, as cringe as that sounds. I couldn't pinpoint one thing, because yeah, every day, getting out of bed and carrying on with your day, even if you don't feel like it, is a really proud moment, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing to make you feel proud of yourself. So that's like a big umbrella. Like, I'm proud of everything, of getting up and carrying on with my day when I don't want to sometimes. And but other times I'm proud of little small things, well, not small things, but I'm proud of getting the bus. I can get on a bus now, and that's a big thing for me. I'm proud of being able to try new foods. I'm proud of being able to go out to restaurants and feel normal, getting meals and not worrying about the side effects. I'm proud that I've built my own business, because it was always a risk going into being self-employed doing nails when all you do is doubt yourself and think you're not good enough. So that was always a big risk, but I feel like I can proudly say I've built up a successful business doing beauty, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of the relationship me and Louis have got, because I feel like it's something we both work on. Not work on because it comes easy, but I'm proud of the life I have now. The home we have, the relationship we have, being able to have grown that together and feeling deserving of it, you know, I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of the friends I've made and the friends I've kept and the ones I have. I'm proud of being able to talk about my anxious times and not feel bad about it. And I'm really, really proud of being able to go to Nashville, because that was a dream. Me and Louis did it last year for our holiday, and I never thought I would manage that, getting on a plane and, you know, going to the other side of the world. Is it the other side of the world? It's pretty far away. It's pretty far away, but I never thought I'd be able to do that. So that's like a big achievement. That's like a massive thing. And if you asked me if I could do it tomorrow, I'd probably think, oh no, I don't think I can do that. But I know I've done it before. It's crazy that I did that. Like, I never would have thought that. Like, if you asked me like a few years ago, are you going to be going to Nashville? I'd be like, well, obviously not. I'm not going to get on that plane. I'm not going to go that far away from home. That is not my safe place. That's not my comfort blanket, but I did it. And yeah, I'm really proud of that. What is the biggest thing that cheers you up when you are down? Allowing myself to be at home, around Louis, around my dog, having a cup of tea, being under a blanket, watching rubbish on the telly that I want to watch. Yeah, anything like that. Just doing things that make me feel good. Not, you know, allowing myself to have that safe space. Like, I want to come home, if I want to light candles, have a bath, have some chocolate, or watch the rubbish things on telly, or if I want a duvet day, I can. You know, that's my happy place, it's my safe place, and if I need a wind down and some me time, then I'm gonna allow myself to have that, and that's what makes me really happy. And another thing is being around my family makes me feel really happy and forget all about it if I'm having a bad day. Of coping with anxiety. So this is a big one, there's so many, but I like to remember that, as I said before, it's a bad day, not a bad life. So coping skills, I would say, not thinking that just because you're having a bad day you're going back to your darkest place, because I'm guilty of that a lot of the time. If I'm having a really anxious day, I'm like, right, that's it, old Megan's back. Well, no, it's not. You're just having a bit of a wobble, which is fine, and you've acknowledged it, which is even better. You're thinking, right, I'm having a bad day, but tomorrow's going to be better. I think it's really important not to get in that negative headspace where you just have your blinkers on and you just think, right, that's it, I'm going back to how I was. You just got to put it in perspective, and I like to assess like what it is that's making me anxious, if I can cut it out. I think when you're kind of getting better from being anxious and stuff, you kind of make yourself feel obliged to say yes to everything, to kind of prove to yourself. Like, I know I always did. I was like, well, I'm better now, so I can say yes to every single plan that I'm offered, and I'm a failure if I don't. But you're not. I mean, it's a great day if you go out and you do loads, see loads of friends, go out for a meal, go out for a few drinks, but it's equally as much of a good day if you stay at home, have some you time, have a movie marathon and duvet day. Like, they're both equally successful days, so you don't need to like measure how well you're doing by how many plans you're doing and stuff. You just take it day by day. I think another coping skill for me personally is knowing that I can leave a situation whenever I want to. I think I'm an adult, I can leave any situation I want to. I'm never trapped, you know. I can walk out of a room and take 5 minutes to myself if I need to. I always used to think like, what if I'm at work and I can't step away from a client, or I'm feeling really anxious and I can't tell anyone. You don't have to, you don't owe anybody anything. Like, if you're feeling anxious and you need a bit of time, take it, step away from it. You can just say, I'm really sorry, I'll be back in a couple of minutes, or, you know, just go and take the time for you. You don't have to explain yourself. I And I find great comfort in that. Like, if I was on a train, I could get off at the next station, even if it's not the destination I want to be. You're never trapped, you can get off. If you're on a bus, you can get off at the next stop, you're not trapped. If you're on a motorway, there's plenty of service stations you can stop at and have a break. If you're in a meeting, you're not tied down to the chair, you can get up and leave. And I think that's what I found really helpful. And knowing that you know what's best for you, like trusting your instinct. If, you know, I think that's it, knowing your own self. You know yourself better than anybody else knows yourself. Something I learned recently, and it's talking every night about something you're grateful for, maybe 5 things you're grateful for that day, or 3. Even if it's just 3, me and Louie do it quite a lot. We say what we're grateful for, what's gone well in that day. And you know, it might be if you've had something nice to eat, or you've treated yourself to something nice, you've had a nice conversation with someone, and anything you're proud of. I mean, I think it's really important to not dwell on things or beat yourself up over things that may not have gone so well, but talk about the things you're really happy about in your life and what's gone really well that day. Another coping thing I think is talking about it and not feeling embarrassed. That's why I've wanted to do this video, because once you get talking about it, it's amazing how many people feel exactly the same. And meanwhile you're sat thinking, I'm this weird person for feeling like this, nobody will understand. But I think it's about accepting it. Like, I know that it's just a tiny part of me, like it's one tree in my whole forest. So yeah, I think you should draw a little diagram of all the trees that you have in your forest. Like, you know, you don't just have one tree. Like, I don't just have the anxiety tree, I have the musician tree, the makeup artist tree, the nail technician tree, the friend tree, the girlfriend tree, the family member tree. You know, do you know what I'm saying? There's loads of things about you. You don't need to get weighed down with one thing. Like, you're not labelled as, oh, the anxious one, the depressed one, the panic attack one. You've got so much more about you than just the labels you give yourself. And I think that's really important to remember. And I think another thing I heard recently is like, would you say that to a friend? You know, if you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, you look fat in that, you look ugly, why are you going out like that? Your makeup's horrible. You've got to step back and think, would you actually say that to your friend? Like, you probably wouldn't, so why are you saying it to yourself? I think you've got to treat yourself like you're one of your friends. You've got to give yourself respect and time and love, and listen to what your body and your mind needs. I think that's a big thing. Don't live your life thinking about what you should be doing or what you think everyone else wants you to be doing. It's your life, and you've got to do what makes you feel happy and comfortable and safe and well. So thank you for watching, guys. This has been quite a long video, so if you've made it this far, then thanks for sticking around. And I was just about to say I hope you don't see me any different, but if you do, that's your problem, sis, that's not mine, because I'm proud of who I am and what I've been through and where I am now. I'm grateful for my mum and my dad, all my family members, and Louie. They're amazing and they've supported me and always had time for me, and I'm really lucky like that. I'm grateful. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. If you've got any questions or any videos you'd like to see, like on self-love or more about coping with anxiety or emetophobia or anything like that, then drop me a little message down below and I'll sort it out. I'll do it, I'll plan it.